We're at the Aria inside of Ivy's room. This is where we play the big game. Usually, I think it's a minimum of 200, 400 to run a game in here.
There were many nights where emotionally I'm going to the amusement park, all right, and I'm gonna get on that fucking roller coaster, okay, because Matt's going to play, okay, so you need to fucking strap up, man, okay, and you know you're sitting there and you're wondering what's going on and this and that, and then I would go to bed. You know, I'd say, all right, you know, how you doing before I go to bed? Like 2 in the like 3 in the morning, here 4 in the morning. It's like midnight or 1 out there. You know, he'd say, yo, I'm like, you know, whatever, I'm about even, let's just say. All right? I'm saying, all right, text me when you're done. I will wake up in the morning, or whatever, noon, and I'll go to my phone, and I would hit the screen button, it light up, so I'd say, I got a text. So I'd say, okay, Matt, okay, cover it up with my hand. And I would go from right to left so I could see the number first. And I would peek, and I'm like, oh, fuck. All right, oh, fuck. All right, it's 3 numbers now. Shit. Okay, it says 518. I'm like, fuck, plus or minus. And sometimes I would shut the phone, and I'd say, okay, it's 518. It's 518. Shit. All right, well, man, maybe it's 518 up. And I'd say, fuck, let's just open it up again. I'll open up, I go 518 minus, fuck! How does he lose $518,000? How does someone lose 518 and just text you that and go to sleep?
This is the cream of the crop, the best game you can be in. Every player talks about playing the biggest games ever, and he's achieved it.
He was always the best out of our group. And it didn't matter if we were just playing a home game with the 5 or 6 of us, or if we went to another game, everyone would always be like, man, Berkey's here? Fuck, I don't want to play against him.
You're essentially going numb to it, right? Like you can't go into that game and lose 300K and let it wreck you. He lost $1 million one night.
I'm very detached from the results and I'm very detached from money itself, but I'm very formulated in my strategy.
I think Berkey will always risk his last penny if there's a seat open.
Berkey's too aggressive or he gambles too much. And it was those things that he would kind of create the fear in the other players where like none of us really had that at the time. We would always learn from him.
If I were this detached in the past without calculation, I would have been a big loser because I would have just given in to whatever whim crossed my mind.
He'll say like, playing the big game, lost 750K, before I would be like, how is he gonna pay rent? How is he gonna take care of the dogs? How is he gonna do this? And it's just like, he's always found a way, every single time when he's in a really bad spot, to turn it into something really good.
I'm freaking out. I made an impulse buy and decided to pick up a nice expensive home. This was just kind of like right place, right time. The homes were everything I wanted them to be. I was just coming off the biggest summer that I've had in years, and everything was going well with Sulphur-Wise. So I was more liquid than I had been in the past, and it seemed like real estate was a decent place to sink a chunk.
It's a whole house, though. It's like, you're gonna build a house from scratch out here?
On an impulse, too. Literally, I spent 10 minutes in the place. I was like, yeah, I'll take a house. Where do I sign?
Yeah, I'll take a house.
Yeah, we did. I literally looked at no other places, nothing. It was just like, oh, so you guys are building? And I can have one? Yeah, where do I sign? I'll take that. I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. Just, yeah, build $1 million home. Don't even bother looking anywhere else.
When he told me he was buying a house out here, I was actually really surprised because from my understanding, it was always gonna be as soon as I can move back home and do what I'm doing here, that's the goal. The goal is to live in Pittsburgh, but do what I'm doing here.
I guess like this vision for what I want this company to be continues to evolve, but it all still stems from the same starting point, I think. Ultimately, I want it to be a source of information in multiple areas. So anytime you're looking for an expert in something that you want to educate yourself in, visit Sulphur-Wise. Yeah, it's where we're gonna have meetings, the sauna.
Where are we?
This is my bathroom.
That's your bathroom.
This is where the shower is gonna be. This whole thing is the shower, and this is the bath. It's gonna be infinity style, just rolls over.
Wait, so where's your bedroom? Is that your bedroom?
This is the bedroom, and then there's a retreat.
They're all picking out their rooms. I still live in New Jersey. Jordan stole a room already.
Will you ever move to Las Vegas?
The answer is always yes. The question is, how much?
Y a la vez cuando yo bajo al escritorio de Christian, lo que yo veo es libros, fórmulas de revistas, libros. Se preparó mucho, como se prepara un doctor, tiene que estudiar muchos años, tiene que dedicarse a investigar, a practicar.
Christian like put in the work into the game, and I was more like going with the flow, but I felt and I knew that he was putting a lot of work and that he was getting really good.
I feel like the stereotypical poker player is like just so used to the game and their poker face is permanent, you know, like they're not excited about it anymore. With him, it's just when you're excited about something, you can't get enough of it. You don't stop being involved with it, and then that makes you evolve as a professional poker player.
I remember that Christian wrote a book and said, oh my God, I need to read the book of my son. Can you imagine that? And I open it and I close it. Immediately. I just pass the pages, I have no idea.
At the time, I was like really looking for a coach, but I was looking for someone that played like cash games and tournaments. And I would just like watch every video Jason Somerville put out, like everything. He started doing these like live streams, and there was only like maybe 5 of us left watching after like so many hours. And I was like, hey man, like, are you coaching? And he said, no, like I'm not really taking any students, but Matt Berkey is.
I was mostly coaching like 1-2 students, and I was good at it.
I wrote like a pretty long, extensive email, and he writes back like, okay, that's a good start. And that was it. I was like, that's a good start? Like, what do you mean? Like I've read books, like I know everything. Like I'm reaching out to you so you could take me to the next level, and you write back a sentence. The crazy part about it was like, when I was reaching out to him, like I had more money than him. Like he was completely broke. And then like a month later, he's like, hey, are you still interested? And I was like super excited. And he's like, okay, well, I could either charge you $250 for an hour or $300 until we exhaust the topic. And I was like, okay, $300. I was like, because I'm just gonna keep you for 2 hours now. Like that's the worst deal you've ever, like, you're a fish, dude. 8-6 off, the ace of clubs, flop flush draw.
You know how goddamn tired you sound?
No, it's just stupid. Like,
Yeah,
I understand. Like,
It's stupid, but at the end of the day, you busted yourself. You thought you saw a spot in a scenario where you were card dead, you were desperate to get into action, you got swept up, and you
But how did I
wanted
get
to win.
swept up if I folded for 3 hours?
Because the spots just weren't presenting themselves.
No, I didn't even get a spot. I literally
That's-
had Jack 3 off.
I think Berkey saw something in Christian that he maybe hasn't seen in any of the other students he's taught before him, and he knew that Christian had a lot of potential, so he wanted to kind of take him under his wing.
Yeah. I mean, like, getting in the habit of making these laydowns, I think, is just, like, crazy.
Trust me, dude. Like, I have jacks and I see this fucking guy.
I wish you would have shown him 5s. Oh, I wish you would have shown him 5s.
I have 5s there.
I know.
But, like, I would have tanked 2.
I know.
I would have just been like... I was like, you're clowning, and then fucking find it.
Yeah.
So Berkey has one of the best work ethics ever, and I think he hasn't surrounded himself with similar people in the past. And so Chin, I think, was the first one who's like, okay, let's do this, let's go, like, let's fucking get it done and do this. And I think that was really refreshing. And they kind of played off each other in order to get Solve for Why off the ground eventually, right?
Before we really get into any sort of strategy, I just kind of want to introduce who we are. Matt Berkey, Jordan Young, Christian Soto. Jordan and I have been roommates and friends for 4 or 5 years, started working together around then when he moved in. Christian reached out to me for coaching around the same time, and we actually kind of fell into our first academy that way. After I'd started working with him one-on-one for 6 months or so, I had an RFID table built, and we just kind of had this idea of like, let's invite our friends over, play, and then analyze the hand histories. So that's kind of like how this was all born.
Christian, the first time I met him, was like, this guy's a fanboy. He was so excited to meet Berkey, to talk with Berkey, to meet Dan O'Brien, to meet Jordan. And, you know, he was just like, oh my God, look at all these poker stars. This is amazing.
Poker was a really soft market for those of us who got into it in the early to mid 2000s. And it's just gotten progressively tougher. So if you were killing it early, what it just means is that you inserted yourself into a soft market with a head start. If you didn't continue to learn and grow, there was a leveling off period and then a decline.
When baseball was less likely, I really thought that he would coach or train in sports of some sort. So that's something that has always been in his wheelhouse from the time he was young.
And all it takes is one hand to kind of trigger that, where it's like, I don't know what just happened there, and I lost a lot of money. Now all of a sudden, all of the challenges that you've ever pushed to the side or internalized and didn't think twice about it because of some false bravado come rushing to the forefront. It's like, I actually don't know what I'm doing out of position in 3-bet pots. And these guys are all fucking better than me.
When I listen to him talk, like I never feel like any of it is bullshit. It makes complete sense, even though I may have to say to him sometimes, all right, that sounds really smart right there. Can you speak to me in like Berto terms or something?
It's never as simple as I'm gonna sit down, play the cards dealt to me, and whatever happens, happens. The turn is the turn, the river is the river. There's nothing I can do that's out of my control. Sure, that is out of your control, but how you react to every single nuanced decision is 100% in your control.
Every single person he coaches for poker turns into like coaching for a bigger thing, like not just poker. It's kind of just like life lessons, or like, how can you make a living out of this if this is what you want to make a living in? Or how can I coach you to make a business plan if this is where you see your life going? I think he's just like really, really good at it.
When it comes down to like, what do we offer you? It's a path to independent thought and independent problem solving, where you no longer have to ask permission of your 3 coaches. Did I do this right? You instead develop this level of self-trust.
When it comes to what he's done since his success and what he's given back to the community, what he's done for his friends, I mean, he's supported so many people around him. It's exactly who Berkey was. So the fact that he's doing Solve for Why to benefit the community, to benefit, you know, poker as a whole, it sounds exactly what I would imagine from him.
Why these problems exist, why they make you uncomfortable, why your opponents are failing, why you're failing, and all these things in between. We kept coming back to this idea of why. Why did I raise pre-flop? Why did I call this 3-bet? Why did I choose this over that?
Why Christian could be in that way to be successful? I'm telling you. When he was like a teenager, 17, 16, get the illness of Michelle and get a bad relationship with the biological father. And Christian was quiet, so quiet, thinking, trying that the person that he loved a lot, that was me, be okay. Don't suffer a lot because him. And I guess that he developed something like a be in control.
I always viewed poker as like kind of like my own thing, and like I didn't really want to share it with anybody, you know. So I never had poker friends. Like I don't even remember poker friends to like a very recent time.
All right, welcome to the Solve for Why vlogcast. Of course, it is myself, Christian Soto, Matt Berkey, my gracious co-host, and the Dominican flag, my gracious country. What was the most impactful moment in your career? I'll tell you what, while you think, the most impactful moment of my career, I'll tell you the story. I tried to get coaching from Vanessa Subs and she was too expensive.
Yeah.
And then I tried to get coaching from Jay Carver and he was too busy.
Yeah.
So then he was like, oh, you should reach out to Matt Berkey.
Yeah, that was dumb.
First, you made me write down my entire strategy through email. I put a lot of thought into that. I was like, yeah, so then I 3-bet a depolarized range. You're like, yeah, that's a good start. That's what you wrote. Yeah. That was fucked up. It was like 2 pages.
Yeah, you can't put it all into 2 pages.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, like, it impacted myself and obviously this company a lot too. But what everyone doesn't know, the first thing you did when you showed up
Good, I know where it's going.
is you were like, hey man, I brought you a copy of my book and I signed it.
Yeah.
It was just like,
Yeah, I had to show you I was on the same playing field.
yeah.
You know?
No, honestly, it was so endearing.
I signed it.
And I developed this rapport with you where you became like this little brother figure to me.
Oh,
And-
see, that's what we need to talk about. Good.
Do we?